Welcome back to the Isaac Abrams Show, everybody. I'm your host, Isaac Abrams. Today's very special guest, comedian, comedy store door guy, and philanthropist, Mr. Luke Schwartz. Welcome to the show, Luke.
Glad to be here,
Thank
Isaac.
you for
Thank
coming,
you.
man.
What an honor.
Yeah, dude, this is the number 2. I was going to make a joke about Patreon, but...
Yeah, I heard this is the number 1 Patreon. Number 3 Patreon?
I was trying to think of those local access television shows.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cable access. Yeah, public access.
This is the number 2 cable access television show on YouTube.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
So, Luke, we're just meeting right now on camera.
Yeah, I thought I might have met you before, and then you said nice to meet you, and I was like, phew, I didn't forget him.
Yeah,
That's good.
no, I'm very forgettable.
You blend in.
I blend.
You look pretty normal.
I have a recognizable face. I've been told.
Uh-huh.
I also get told I look like Aaron Rodgers quite a bit.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah.
He's 6 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
And I met him. I'm not into sports, so when I did meet him, I told him he should think about playing football. It's like, you're a big fella. You got to think about playing football.
Wow. And then he get a laugh, or yeah.
Well, the people surrounding me got a laugh at my expense.
I see.
Yeah.
One time, Portugal the Man came into the Comedy Store, and I was like, "Hey, Portugal the Band," and they did not like that.
They did not like that.
But I still think it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there ever been anybody that you've had that of note that you can talk about that's come in and you've been had to ask to leave? Like,
A celebrity that we had to like kick out or something at the Comedy Store?
Maybe reseat them because they weren't behaving, or is that like code? Can you talk about stuff?
You know, most people get famous because they know they know where they belong. So like most of the famous people are either guests of people, so they don't want to embarrass like the comedian that brought them.
Oh, I see.
Or they know they're in public and don't want to like act too crazy. So like not really. We haven't had to kick out any celebrities, but it's always fun to see who's nice and who's a dick.
Right.
Yeah.
Has there been a case where people walk up assuming that you know who they are, and you're like, "Can I see your ID?" And they're like, "Bro."
I checked Minnie Driver's ID once.
Okay.
And I was like, this lady looks like Minnie Driver, and I was like, and you know, at the time we were really cracking down, and we were like, so we had to check every ID, and I was like, "Can I see your ID?" And it said Minnie Driver. I was like, I thought so. Come on in, dog.
That's always it's always a good backup. I knew it was you.
Yeah.
But if you're wrong and it's not.
Kenan Thompson actually once came in, and he was like the coolest because he was wearing a low hat, and he had an entourage of like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Not a big entourage, and they were all like low key but weird looking. So it was like cool artist types. And he was like he had like a low hat, and the front guy sent him around to the back because he didn't recognize him. He just said he was a comic.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm a comic. Can I watch in the back?" And then I got him at the back door. I saw him, and I was like, "Hey," he's like, "Can I watch?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's pretty full." And oh yeah, you can come in. I got you. And he tipped great to the server.
Sure.
So like that's like a big plus if a celebrity's a big tipper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friggin' Ballmer, the billionaire owner of the Clippers, the Microsoft guy, did not tip. And I'm a Clippers fan. I was like pissed off. Yeah.
No tip.
Did not tip the server.
Wow.
Then that's a billionaire move, man.
Well, that's how you become a billionaire. You save all that tip money.
I guess, yeah. Just by being unethical all the time.
Right.
If you're gonna get $1 billion.
Fuck enough people over to get $1 billion, you might as well fuck over a couple servers too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's nuts. Any other famous non-tippers? Or good tippers? Because it's got to be noteworthy, right? Either no tip or big tip for them to share that with you, right?
Yeah. Celebrities who know what they're doing, like usually have some like comics who are bigger at Park in the Lot will drop $100 bill to the lot guy, and that's always like a cool look for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whitney did that the other day to the lot guy, even though she's begging to be canceled online. She's like, "Cancel me," and then getting deals. It's like, I don't think you know how this works, but she's very nice to us. Yeah.
Have you ever done any lot time?
No, I have stayed. I've done one shift in the lot, and I was like, "Nah, I'm
not into it."
I'll be at the back door. I'll be anywhere else, but I just don't want to. I'm a comic, I don't want to do that.
For the folks at home, can you explain the coverage? There's front door. There's the back door. In the hallway.
So the Comedy Store has been around since 1972, I think, and it's gone through a lot of changes, and now we are back to our pretty much our pre-pandemic height of fame, or not fame, people coming, busyness.
Yeah.
And there are 3 different showrooms. The original room's about 150, the belly room's about 70, and the main room's about 350 people for like capacity. And we have at least like 2 people in most of the rooms, 1 person in the belly room, 4 people in the main room, and 2 people in the OR. And then we have people at the front and the back and the lot, and then a few security guards too. So it's like it's pretty locked down.
Oh, so there's people that are specific security. The door guys aren't necessarily security.
Not anymore. We used to have to do security.
Yeah.
And then there was a shooting there, and it was a targeted gang hit.
Okay.
So it wasn't great, but someone got killed on the patio, which is rough.
Yeah. But adds to the legend.
Yeah, that was a weird night.
Were you there?
Oh yeah, I was in the belly room. There was roast battle was going on, and I just like people heard about it. The show kept going. We just like locked the doors and like kept people kind of like in and say, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it was really nuts. But then after that, we got security.
Yeah.
I believe it was after that, and then yeah, we have at least 1 security on each of the entrances, so that's nicer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we used to have to be like, hey, be quiet in the room, and they'd be like, shut up, you little bitch. Like, you know, like,
Oh, no.
I was like, what are you going to do? You're 5'8". Like, you're not going to do anything. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know, I might come back and try to shame you.
I'm going to grab 18 of my friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Shame was the main tactic I used
Yeah.
to try and get like audience members to a couple times. Like if they're like really agitated and they want their server, I go, okay, what do you think an adult would do in this situation?
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't win that
Right.
fight. Yeah. So that's a fun little tool to use.
That's, yeah, man. And because the main room, at least in the main room, it's that back upper tier. Like that's way out of the view of the comics, right? So they can't shame them from stage. There's no like...
No, right. But yeah, so it's nice to have security that are usually bigger people to like come and grab troublemakers is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're just point and click now. You're like, that guy goes, that guy goes.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's no question. It's just one big hand on the shoulder and it's time to go.
Yeah, right. And we're too lenient a lot of the time because people are, you know, a little tipsy and they like to have a good time, and it's after, you know, like people have been in for so long.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea. I mean, it is an entertainment venue, but at the end of the day, like, it is a business. You're trying to sell as much booze as possible.
Yeah, yes, that's right. But, you know, we also have to keep the other customers around you happy. Like,
Yeah.
you see everyone else not yelling. Heck, like, you're obviously the problem.
Yeah.
And the people who are the problem are usually the problem, whatever venue they go to, whatever, like, restaurant or bar. It's like,
Yeah, that's them. That's
it's
their,
like you're always getting kicked out. And you always see people, like, in a couple, it's usually one is embarrassed and one is loud. And,
Yeah.
it varies which person it is all the time. And, like, but a lot of the time they'll get kicked out and one person will be like, fuck you, I'm never coming back, this is a bullshit place.
Yeah.
And the other person's like, sorry, I'm so sorry this happened.
Yeah.
So forgive them.
I took a young lady to the OR one time, and before we even got our drinks, Tony Hinchcliffe was on stage.
No, I'm sorry.
And she was repeating everything he said.
Yes.
Ha, 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 yeah, I drove the car. Ha, ha, ha. And I was like, oh, God damn it. I was like, you need to shut up. She was like, no, this is fun. Before we even got drinks, and when Tony was about to light her up, I was like, and I pulled her out, like less than half of one comic, and we were out of there. I was like, nope, we're not going to do it.
And so you had been doing comedy already at that point?
That was, I mean, I had produced my first couple of shows, but like before I even knew what comedy was, and like didn't even hit mics yet. Like, no, I wasn't actually a comic, but I knew more than to like
You knew
embarrass
the decorum.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd listened to enough podcasts to know that this was the mecca of comedy and not to embarrass myself if I ever want to
Smart.
come back here.
Because we do remember that. We go, oh, I remember you. Yeah, like there's institutional memory there of like people who are trouble and who are okay.
Yeah, you never forget people that are dickheads.
No, though only the one first impression, as the saying goes.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't go there a lot. I go to the Improv and the Laugh Factory a couple times a week. And my excuse is that the store has their shooters. They have Van, they have Troy, they have Pamela for a while. Liz pops in every once in a while. But
Liz on payroll now, but yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yes. And Van and Matt and Liz, I think, are the ones. Matt Masisko. Yeah.
I've never met him, but I'm hoping to hire him to shoot myself one day because I can't photograph myself.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
Yeah, I've always kept the store for comedy only. Never tried to get my camera in there.
Yeah, so come hang out. Yeah, I stress people a little bit. I go, hey, where'd you start?
Yeah.
I do that a lot, just to like see what they like, if they panic or not.
Yeah.
And then I let them.
You would see my panic face.
Yeah.
I started here.
Yeah. Oh,
Here at the store? No.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been doing comedy?
Too long?
Yeah.
Yeah. I started in 2010.
So before you worked at the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started at the store in 2013.
And you were born in L.A.
Born and raised in L.A. College in New York. Started comedy in New York. I was barking in Times Square. I was one of those guys.
Wow, that's legit.
Yeah. In 3 years, I barked through 2 hurricanes and 2 blizzards.
Oh my
I was
God.
like there during the
Yeah.
So it was bad.
So for the folks at home that aren't super into comedy,
Right.
barking is outside handing out flyers, trying to drive traffic to the club.
Yeah, like a carnival barker
Yeah.
is where it comes from. But like, and a lot of like those aggressive people who are in Times Square who are like, hey, you want to see a comedy show? You better come see a comedy show. That's what I did, except
Yeah.
I was less aggressive. And I was not a great barker, but I was a pretty okay comic for starting out. So I got
That's good.
stage time through.
And the reward for barking at the end of the night is 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and I was barking for the Broadway Comedy Club that had 2 stages, but I would only go on the smaller one. But even in the smaller one, on the weekends there were 3 shows a night, and on the weekdays usually 2.
Yeah.
So when going up, I was able to get in front of like real tourist crowds and do like 2 shows, 3 shows a night, which was nice.
That's some reps, man.
Yeah, it was
That'll
good.
Get it in.
Yeah.
And then you came here. When you come home from college, did you just go straight to the store? You're like, I'm going to keep the
Well,
momentum?
no, I stayed after college. I stayed for 3 years. I wasn't in college in New York, like New York City proper. I was just doing comedy, and I was a janitor, and I did food delivery stuff, and I did I worked at a liquor store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always get a job in New York, right? There's always somebody hiring.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I worked. Yeah, I had. Luckily, I had like family friends and stuff. But like the jobs they hooked me up with weren't like glamorous or anything.
Right.
There's like nepotism to be a janitor.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in this guy's kitchen space.
Right. It's
I
all-
also worked like back of the house for catering.
Yeah.
So like none of the fun like party down stuff, but like all of like, oh, I made 1,000 desserts today.
Set a new world record for dessert making.
Not even close to a world record, man. And I did not last long in that job. I was not.
But even in those gigs, you still gotta like have a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any mafia ties that you can talk about?
No.
Got it.
Yeah. No, I stay very above board.
Yeah. All
I
legit.
do a lot of stuff to stay out of the eye of both the underworld and also the mob.
Got it.
I'm making fun of cops, but yeah. But yeah, try to just fly as the radar. Just be the radar. Don't be under or over it.
Right. Be right at radar level.
Just hang out with the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to be.
Yeah,
I'm a little more dramatic than that. I like to.
a lot of people are.
Yeah, but not in. I don't like to get negative attention. I used to a long time ago. I used to like cause problems and stuff, but now it's like
Yeah.
so incredibly embarrassing to
Yep.
just see somebody that's out of hand. 10 years at the store, right?
Let's see, 013 to now, so like 9-ish.
Coming up, well,
Yeah, coming up
9-ish.
on 10 and yeah.
What are some of the like biggest changes? I mean, there's obviously Pandy, but then it's like when you started, that was like still Rogan's not back.
Yeah, Rogan wasn't back. It
Adams
was really
still Tommy.
It was still Tommy, terrible Tommy booking it. It was pretty dead when I first started. There were you had to have a minimum amount of people in the showroom to start. So like you had to have 8 people in the original room to start the show.
Okay.
You had to have 10 or 15 people in the main room because it was like bringer independent shows and they sometimes just wouldn't get people, and you had to have like 6 people in the belly room. And we canceled a lot of shows.
Wow.
Where like I was never in the era where the checks bounced. That was like 3 or 5 years before me. But when the first like 2 or 3 years of it was like really,
Like paychecks.
yeah, paychecks used to bounce.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would like, I mean, old managers used to shave hours and stuff, like really bad shit.
Yeah.
That's like very anti people. Like, that's not good.
Who would want to work there?
Desperate comics,
Right? Okay,
who heard
I knew
the
the
lore
answer.
about,
as soon as I
who
asked
wanted
it.
stage time so bad
Yeah.
that they would take any, City of Angles.
Yeah.
But I got the job and I was thrilled. And potluck was still going on the way it used to, where you sign up, you get the 3 minutes, but you had to sign up in person. Now it's a whole email rigmarole.
Yeah.
But there used to be like 40 to 50, 60 people signing up for the open mic for 16 slots. Mm-hmm. And then I started like helping out, like as time went on, I was like kind of helping facilitate potluck. We would get our record is over 200
Signups.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like 210 or 212, something like that.
Yeah. In person or
In person, just flooding the patio.
Yeah.
Just it was nuts.
That's
so like
insane.
that's our popularity as the comedy boom kept booming and booming and booming and booming, that like we just kept up with demand, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest change was how many people we had to deal with.
Sure. Like, and it's not first 16 people to sign up, or
No,
nobody
it's a
would wait
random
in
lottery.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then most people hang out and watch the show anyway, right?
Maybe, well, of the 200, probably like 5 or 10% can even fit in the room, because we have customers too that are coming to watch the thing. So like,
Wow.
we have to kick out comics if there's no room for comics. The customers have the first priority, and if there's room, we let comics in, and that's fine.
Wow. So real live people are coming to watch the potluck.
Oh yeah, especially now. It's really, I don't know. It's the marketing must be amazing, but like it's still like we get, some crazies, some homeless people all still coming up, like signing up through the thing and getting chosen because it's a random lottery. And like,
Yeah. You think Kill Tony had anything to do with that? Where normal people just want to go like watch a new comic.
It definitely had its draw, but it was mostly comedy fans, because they like to see like comics get torn down, and then they would like fantasize like, oh, I could be up there, whatever. And that like kept bringing them back for that show.
Yeah. It is interesting, the guy who thinks he can do it, and then the guy who thinks he can do it trying it.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about Tony or?
No, I'm talking about me. Yeah. I was just watching comics like, that's easy. I remember the first time that I saw a comic do their set again, and it blew my mind.
Wow, yeah, you go, oh, it's an act, it's a lie.
What the fuck's going on here?
He didn't go to the store yesterday.
It's like, she's told that joke before.
Yeah.
I was like, blew my fucking mind.
What you thought we just like said, I just thought of this, and I talking so naturally, and I'm not even stumbling over my words.
You know what happened the other day?
Yeah.
It was Eleanor Kerrigan. And then I saw her again. I hadn't seen her for years, and then I saw her open up for Dice Clay in Vegas many years later, after I'd already been in the scene. And her set was completely different and super tight, and it was like, wow, okay, I totally get it now. Like, you work on shit in town, and then you take it out of town to Vegas.
I've seen comics do the same jokes for as long as I've been at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I have one Mike friend that's still doing his same 7 minutes, and from when I started 5 years ago. 4 years ago.
I have jokes I do. Everyone has their closer that they always can pull out of their back pocket or whatever, and I've got a couple here and there, and like I'm doing jokes that are 7, 8 years old or whatever, but like I'm also tweaking, which is fun to do. You have like a 5-year-old joke, and you think of a new tag, and it's never been on TV. You're just like, I got a new joke.
Yeah.
And like, I'm writing, and you're not writing, but you're writing.
Right.
You tell yourself you are.
You're tagging.
Yeah.
That's good. What's your process like? Do you sit down and you type it out word for word, guy?
I wish I could. I do it in the phone. I don't have any notebooks or anything. I used to have the notebooks, and like they would fill up, and like I couldn't read, and I'd be walking and writing, and it wouldn't work. So I just do the phone. My notes app is just full of stuff, and I'm not super disciplined about it, because I don't know, it just doesn't. I don't feel that.
Yeah.
And I do it in the moment. Like when it comes to me, I'll stop a conversation. I'll be like, stop. and then I just walk away for like 45 seconds or whatever and come
Yeah.
back. It's not a attractive personality trait, but that's how I do it.
Do you just write the premise and you work it out on stage, or do you give it a couple tags, or like maybe a punchline, or like?
I usually have the whole thing before I go up.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's how it goes, and the ones I think are gonna do the best do mediocre, and the ones that I think are throwaway are the ones they laugh at, and so it's like, well, shit, I guess I don't fucking know anything.
Yeah, I'll put just the premise in the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it's writing time, I will write it out like paragraphs.
You show a lot of premise.
I show a lot of premise.
Yeah.
I think I've maybe written 4 punchlines in my whole life. It's just this story, and then.
Yeah.
I say the end a lot because people don't know when my stories are over, and I do this.
Yes, that's great.
But yeah, I panic before I go on stage because I know that I can't memorize 2 pages worth of shit, like word for word.
Mm-hmm.
I keep putting myself in this situation where it's like, if I miss a beat in the story, then I'm going to miss a written punchline, and then I'm going to rewind myself on stage. And it's like this clusterfuck to watch, which ends up becoming funny because it's such a bomb. It's like a super bomb.
Yeah, but that's not ideal.
No.
Even if it's funny, it's not.
It's not.
good.
That's not a career. Like, no one's going to see that twice. They're going to go, "Ugh,
Yeah, he messed up. Yeah, and it was funny. And then
Yeah.
you do it every time. You're like, well, this guy's just a fucking screw up.
That's not an act. That's
Yeah.
just you get really fortunate that people haven't seen you do that before. But then I end up ditching the bits and going to crowd work, and I feel like I'm pretty strong in crowd work, and I pull it out at the end. And
Yeah, I wish I was stronger at crowd work. I'm okay, but I'm really not a people person anyway.
Yeah.
I don't have time for you.
Right.
I don't have time for
this
you.
is my time,
Yeah.
not your time.
Like, I don't want to know what you do. I don't give a
Right.
shit.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
But that's also the reason why I love doing this too. I
Yeah.
love meeting new people and talking for an hour. And
Yeah, I have my relationship with the audience. I think is not super healthy because I've always looked at it like, if they really like me, I love them, but I don't respect them, and if they hate me, I hate them, but boy, do I respect them.
oh wow,
So it's not really like a healthy
Yeah.
relationship I have with them. So I don't engage too much.
do you feel like that's a common? Like, do you know other comics that feel that same way about the crowd?
I mean, maybe. I bet. I'm not nothing in depth that I've taught. Yeah.
Is this spawned from seating hundreds of thousands of people over your career?
Wow. It probably has been tens and tens and tens of thousands.
At least, right? I mean, the main room holds almost 600, doesn't it?
350.
I was way off.
Yeah, but we do 2 shows a night sometimes. So
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got thinking about what was the question again?
Oh, your hatred or love of the
Oh
audience.
yeah, that predates comedy even, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where I'm just like, I hate myself and I'm better than you. I'm still better than everybody and I hate myself, which I think is just
And
Judaism.
If I hate me, then I definitely have to hate you.
Yeah.
Because I can't like you more than me.
Kinda, yeah, but like, I suck, but you're worse. Like, kind of like you're a monster, and I'm just like kind of a dick.
Is anybody great? Do you have heroes?
I try not to. My big one is Andy Kindler, though. He's my North Star, and it doesn't help the act much, but I love him, and he's right on the money on his. He's my guy.
All right.
Yeah, I've met him once. I try not to go around him too much and meet. You don't want to like meet your heroes, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I like to enjoy him from an arm's distance, and I'll keep it that way.
There you go.
Yeah, he's really funny.
Where'd you meet him?
He was at the store one time, and I just like he was walking in. I was like, "Hey," and I shook his hand once, and I just like kind of went. But I've seen him like a couple dozen times here and there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's good to just have like one hero. If you have what's too many heroes? 5, 10?
Yeah, you can like people. They
Sure.
don't have to be your hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you have the hero, then you have to be like, oh, I have to do everything that they tell me, and then like you have to subscribe to their Patreon or whatever, and you're like,
Yeah.
Enough. Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, I mean, if you have to subscribe to all your heroes' Patrons, that can get expensive. Especially if you have more than one.
Yeah.
So you come back from New York. Mm-hmm. What school did you go to in New York?
SUNY Purchase, which is SUNY's like the UC of New York, so it's like State University, New York.
Yeah. What borough is that? Is that in Manhattan?
It is it's like in White Plains.
Okay.
Which is 45 minutes by train outside the city.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
it was nice. It was a nice rural campus. Very. It had a lot of like academies. I had like a dance academy, an acting academy, a music academy.
Makes sense.
That were very renowned. A theater design program that's very renowned, and all these like Wesley Snipes, Edie Falco.
Oh,
a lot of famous
Sopranos.
dancers that I don't know, but like modern dance, like a huge number of Purchase alum go to modern dance, and a huge number of like design tech people go into Broadway, and it's a very good school for all of that stuff. Very great jazz program, and I went for art history.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So the backup career, if you ever bail on comedy, is teaching art history?
Probably. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Teaching of some kind. Yeah. But I knew I wanted to be a comic before then. So I was just like, art history, I'll major in this. I took a class in high school and I loved it. So like, I'll just get through the 4 years and then I'll do comedy for the rest of my life. And that's kind of how it's been going.
Was getting a degree something that you wanted, or was it like an achievement that was maybe like something you wanted to do for your parents?
My parents definitely encouraged it heavily. They didn't force me, but it was very like, it would have been disappointing if I hadn't gone to college. And I'm so glad I did. I had a great time. And I learned a lot of shit, and I learned how to be an adult there. You know, I learned how to take care of myself.
Yeah, it's far enough out of the city, so it was like city on the weekends kind of thing?
City, like what? Yeah, and kids would go all the time, and a lot of people were from the city because it was a public school right outside, you know, and I would go in probably once every 1 or 2 months. I didn't want to go in too much because I planned to live there afterwards.
Oh, right.
So I was like, I'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to burn it out.
I went into the Laugh Factory, which doesn't exist anymore in Times Square.
There was a Laugh Factory in Times Square?
There was a Laugh Factory in Times Square that turned into, I think, a year-round haunted house.
Okay.
Which it kind of already was.
Yeah.
But I saw, first comedy show, I was probably 18 or 19. It was like my first stand-up comedy show, and Big J was the headliner.
Oh, cool.
And everyone was good, and I was like laughing, and I was like, okay. And then Big J Okerson got up there, and I was like, oh, this is different. This is the good this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was good. He was great.
Everyone was fine.
Fine. He was
and
good.
he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he wearing the gloves yet?
I don't remember the gloves. Yeah.
It's always been an interesting choice for me, and I've always wanted to ask him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it's a Dice Clay homage, but
Nice Clay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew Nice Clay or something. Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay. He's still wearing them.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, he's so tough. You know, forget about
it. He's had to have come through the store.
Oh, yeah, I met him a couple times.
Yeah.
His son Max is a cool kid.
Yeah.
Plays drums and does comedy stuff. Yeah.
My buddy worked at Guitar Center. He said he would be in there all the time buying his kids like the instrument of the week. It's like, here's a guitar, here's a drum set, here's a DJ setup.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
He's a loud guy. He goes around and you're not confused whether it's Dice or not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Dice. That is, yeah.
Has he gone up since you worked at the store? Has he gone up at the store?
Yeah. He doesn't go up a lot, but he's definitely been up like half dozen times. So not that much.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Does he announce himself, or does he just roll up and goes, "I'm next"? Like,
I think he has popped in, but he's also been scheduled a couple times, and he was only doing it for like a couple months, and then he does his road stuff, and he's like busy. He doesn't have time for the 15-minute spots that the Comedy Store provides. He wants to do his like hour and a half of like, I'm sure he's not doing the nursery rhymes anymore, but he's doing something. Yeah, riddles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he'll rock 1 or 2 for his encore.
That makes sense.
But I mean, you can't go see Dice Clay without one hickory dickory, you know? Like,
I guess not.
I mean, if you're a fan, if you don't know who he is,
very nice dude.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say. And his comedy is legendary.
If you're at the back door and like somebody that's not on the list is popping, like a Seinfeld just rolls up.
Yeah.
Like, what's that scramble like?
Well, always go through the talent booker, Emily LaFord, who's doing really good job. I really liked what she's taken over and done, and like she's really, without changing too much, has changed a lot of attitude, like vibe around the place is different and cool. So you always look for the booker first, and they will tell you whether or not they're popping in or what room they're popping in on. But if like management isn't there, like sometimes like a big star will roll up, and if I'm in charge of the room, I'm usually because I have seniority because I've been working there for so long, so I'm like I'll say, I can put you up in 2 people. Is that cool? And they'll go, yeah, or nah, I can't wait for that. I'm gonna try the other room. I go, great. And I'll text Emily or whatever if she's not around, and we see. Yeah, it's just it's a lot. I love the hands-on. It's puzzle pieces all the time.
Right.
At this live venue, and you're always kind of like, it really is just not invigorating, but it's a dynamic job.
Right.
So it's always changing. No 2 days are the same. Every day is a goddamn week there.
Yeah.
And like every week's a month, and it's just like, it's really like time has a weird like energy at the store.
So you've been there
ratio.
for 150 years.
Yeah, it's like dog years. Kinda. Yeah. It's really because like 4 major things will happen on a night.
Every night.
You know what I mean? Like someone will pop in, someone will get kicked out, and then like someone will have beef with someone else, that comic wise.
Comic to comic beef.
I'm sure. And then someone fun will be there that you haven't seen in a while. And those are all like a bunch of things. You're like it's a lot all the time. It's great. It's great energy, and it's exhausting, and it's really fun.
Yeah. What's the process like now? Like so you have seniority, and I only know him by his Instagram name. Mostly Sorry just got hired as a door guy.
Joel Jimenez.
Joel Jimenez. Yes,
yeah,
of course.
He's been around a long time, but he's bottom of the totem pole now.
Right?
Yeah.
But once you apply to be a door guy, and I'm not sure someone just told me this. I think it was Steve Fury was on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It took him 6 months to get hired from applying. What's the application process for door guys? Is it like how long did it take Joel?
You kind of just let people know that you're interested in the job. There's no formal application. Mm-hmm. You let people know, like, hey, wow, you guys have a great job. I'd love to do this. And we go, fuck off. And then, but like if you've been hanging around for years and enough people like you and vouch for you, you'll get a showcase spot on like the potluck or something like that, or a belly room show, and a talent booker will see your act and hire you or not from there. And there's been a lot of people who they like and think are funny and are just not right for the role at the time, or they're not hiring. They go through flux of like people who, when they're hiring, because people leave or get fired for like at random times. It's not like seasonal anything. So,
yeah.
And jobs don't open up all that often.
Yeah, there's not that many to go around.
Right. Yeah. And but it's a real like honor system list of like who's been hanging out a long time, who's been putting in the time at the store, who has the right vibe and attitude towards comedy and comics and yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's always like what we look for is like, are they cool?
Yeah.
Like basically, are they cool?
Can they hang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
can they not geek out around the celebrity
right.
comics?
Yeah. And that still doesn't, I mean, not everyone who's working there is up to my standards of.
That's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard to keep your shit together around a celebrity for the first time.
Yeah.
Once you get to know them and you can like look at them eye to eye as a person.
Yeah, it's still hard. But Neil Brennan had that great joke about how people act around celebrities like they do if they're in traffic and a cop pulls up next to them. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't look, or if I'm not looking, is that too obvious that I'm not looking? Or
yeah.
Like, am I panicking? Yeah. So I'm from LA and like lived in New York. I don't get starstruck that often. Like I'm happy that they're there, but like I can usually compose myself and hang out pretty good. But some people just like wig out, man. And I just like, the only people I wig out for are like athletes.
Oh yeah.
Cause that's like, oh, you do something I could never do.
Yeah.
And most people can't do. Like comedy, I think, you know, a lot of people are funny. Not everyone can do it, obviously, but I know so many fucking comics.
Right.
That it's like, okay,
like
you're a
all
famous
the
comic.
comics.
Yeah. I know like half the comics in the world. No, it's
Yeah.
not true. But I know thousands of comics.
Yeah.
And it's just, and to see like a famous one, you're like, okay, good.
Yeah.
A good one.
He's one that got good at it.
That's good. Yeah, I'm happy you're going up.
It makes the goal attainable for everybody else that's working towards getting there.
Yeah, and yeah. But musicians drop by and like, people lose their shit. And I'm like, yeah. Just like, we're Hollywood. We have to keep it cool. Like we're a Hollywood institution. Don't fan out. Like be cool.
Right. Yeah. It's, are there...
God, I'm heated right now. I like want to call some coworkers right now and remind them of like, you fucked up this time.
Yeah. Do you ever have like a debrief after an interaction where you're like, hey man, maybe next time, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do too many of those. I take my Captain Door Guy role a little too seriously for some of my coworkers. I'm positive of it. And like where I go, don't do that. And everyone's like, calm down. I'm like, I'm calm. I think you're just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you are the most experienced one there, so...
I'm up there, yeah. Renee's been there like a couple months longer than me. Quincy's been there like a year or two longer than me, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Are there any door guys that are not comics, or is that against the point? Like, there's not anybody that's just working the door just to have a job, right?
No. Security they aren't comics. Well, now a couple of them are, of course, because everyone's a comic, but like...
They work there long enough, they're like, I think I could do that.
Yeah, and the store has a terrible thing where like servers will become comedians and like bartenders who were actors only, and now like they see it so much that they're like, oh, I'm gonna try this, and it's like, you don't have to, man.
Yeah,
you just enjoy or whatever. But like it's really disappointing when someone starts working there and then starts stand up.
Yeah, I can see how that could be
just like,
that'd be frustrating.
It's just not, it wasn't like your original dream like it is for so many of us losers who have dreamed about getting here, and then you got here and turned changed your dream.
Yeah.
Again, I'm mad for no reason and like whatever, but I just get on my high horse.
I totally get it. I'm definitely one of those people. I came here for music. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to be in a band with 3 other dudes at 42 years old.
Yeah.
And I still want to tour. So I can either grab my camera and tour with these guys, which is still 4 dudes, 5 dudes in a bus, which is like not ideal.
Yeah.
Or I can learn how to be funny,
right,
and get that tour that I never got when I was in my 20s. So that was the impetus behind all of it.
Yeah. The pluses and minuses, like every comic wants to be a musician, every musician wants to be you've heard that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like it's all the comics we see, we go, oh man, if I was in a band, I'd never bomb. Like even if we bomb, like we could just play through it. We play over it. It's not just me up there with my because when you bomb as a comic, the audience is saying your thoughts are bad.
Yeah.
Like right in the heart, like really just tough.
But take like 3 people that are like your favorite 3 people in the world.
Yeah.
And play a wrong note when everybody else has played perfectly for 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And that look. Fuck the audience, because they can't even hear it. The music is so loud, but on stage the monitor mix is like, Doom, and you get the look from the drummer, the singer, because I'm a recovering bass player. They all look at the same time.
Yeah.
They all 3 look at you, and then you look back when they fuck up. And it's just like, that's what keeps you practicing, because you just don't want that feeling.
But that is the plus of like a comic being like, I'm solo on stage. It's all me. I get all the praise and I get all the bomb too. I get all the bad and good of it, and it's just like, yeah, it's deeply narcissistic, but it's like I do like to be in control. I don't want to like depend on someone else.
Do you have like a worst bomb story or a best set story? You can choose your own adventure.
It's so interesting. I don't remember the best sets totally. And like every comic will tell you, they remember the bombs way more. Mm-hmm. It's so much easier. Like the best sets, like I've had a lot of really great sets, and so the bomb story, I've probably told this on a podcast before, but who cares? I was barking in New York. It was probably late into my 2nd year of doing comedy, and I am starting to feel a little bit of confidence. My stage presence is getting there. I have 10 minutes, and I feel good about it. I'm killing in the small room at the club I bark at all the time, and as like a reward, or like they want to see a younger comic, they would put you in the big room for the check spot. and like that was like a big like. And so I got that spot finally, and I was like, oh, I'm bringing it. And that's every time I've had a bomb is when I felt confident going in.
Really?
Yeah. If I think I'm gonna, I was like, okay, we'll see. Those are my best sets. But I went on stage. So they had a the comic before me was this like road dog black dude comic who was older, and I don't remember his name, but he was like crushing with the hackiest material.
Oh no!
And just like, he's a good comic. He's good at his job. I have nothing against whatever, but he was doing like German people talk like this, da 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 da, and like crushing. At the end of his set, he got a mixed standing ovation. People around were standing.
Oh boy!
Someone threw a rose on stage, or like flowers on stage.
Seriously?
You know how like if you're eating at a restaurant, someone comes by like, hey, buy these flowers for your date. Mm-hmm. Someone had done that and then taken those flowers and like thrown them on stage.
That's so theatrical.
I mean, he got like
the lights got brighter, sound gets louder.
And then the host goes, wow, that was amazing. One more time for this guy. All right, now we're going to raffle off a bottle of champagne. They raffle off like a shitty bottle of champagne. Look at your tickets. And they're like, we're talking. Everyone's like talking, whatever. And they're like, okay, next comic, Luke Schwartz. And this is all when the servers are dropping all their checks. So like no one's paying attention, whatever.
Right.
And I get up and my first joke is like, don't you hate when they put two comics up that are the same right in a row, you know, whatever like that. Like, and people had like forgotten that this guy, like, you know, that there was two in a row, like in their mind, like, no, they did a raffle, like the thing.
Yeah.
And I had like thought of that and I was like, oh, it'll be funny to say. And like, it got crickets. And then from then on, I just had like, part of the way through, I blacked out. It was so bad. I had real booze, people booing. I did my best.
Oh,
I did my save it.
Not booze that you drank, but like
I had booing. There was booing.
Oh,
I like thinking about it makes me sweat again. Like
Yeah.
I'm a little schwitzy right now, but like, I mean, I had not only hecklers, I had hecklers supporting hecklers. Some guy was like, "You're not funny," and the guy was like, "That he's right. You aren't funny."
yeah. What he said. Wow.
And I was just like, oh my God. And I was supposed to do 10 minutes. I think I did 13 because I like at a certain point I just got so mad and I was just like, yeah, fuck you. I was just yelling. I came to out of my blackout like yelling fuck you at people.
You're
And
like, what am I doing to people?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And I was not asked back to that room for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
I didn't cry at that one. I was just too in shock.
Have you ever like cried on stage?
I have cried on stage, yeah, but only because I was talking about my dead friends who recently passed.
Yeah.
Speaking of, it was 818 day yesterday. It was Brody Stevens Day. It was where I got this hat.
That's right. And
yes, push and believe, push positivity.
This is coming out in probably 10 weeks.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still when we're recording it.
818.
It was
August 18th.
August 18th is 818 Day officially in the city of Los Angeles. Is Brody Stevens Day.
Go to Sherman Oaks and see the bench at the park.
Yeah, and in Reseda, maybe Reseda Park or Sherman Oaks. Look it up on Festival of Friendship. Yeah, but
it might be Reseda.
I cried. Yeah, I recently
forefront.
lost like a couple other friends. Like Jack was a very dear, like my best friend in comedy.
Yeah.
And then literally a month later, exactly 1 month, Teddy Ray passed.
Yeah.
And I just,
It's been a rough summer.
It's been a really rough thing. And I recently got like I cried on stage and I like had to talk about him because it's just, I couldn't not. And I recently got kind of an opportunity to open for someone special and it was like going to be this weekend. And I just had to be like, after Teddy passed, he might even, no, he offered it after Jack passed, but before. And then like he offered me it and I was like, I said yes. And then a couple days ago I said, I can't do it, man. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm in the space to be like chipper and open your special and like I can't fake it. Like
it's for a taping?
It's for a taping.
Yeah.
So like I cannot. I don't want to ruin your momentum of your special because he's like a happy headliner. He's an upbeat guy, and I'm not there, and I think it would be fake of me to, and like I think I'm not good at faking stuff. The audience would see through it. And I've opened for specials. I opened for Mark Maron's latest Netflix special, so it's my voice introducing him. So that was like cool, and I know I can do it, but I couldn't do it this time. I'm still not in the right headspace. I'm doing okay sets.
Yeah.
But
but at least you're like emotionally forward enough to realize that, because a lot of people would just take the opportunity for the cred.
I think I'm old enough and seasoned enough that I hope I made the right call, but I feel like it was for my own.
And the respect that you're going to get for...
Hopefully, or like he'll never use me again, but he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
Yeah, or he'll take you on the road.
Yeah.
Have you been on the road before?
I'm not a fan of the road, and yes, I have. Okay. I don't like going to the place and do it. Like, people don't like me outside of the big city.
Yeah.
I'm a little too uppity and elitist and sardonic for them.
So then how do you forecast your comedy career without like taking the road off?
Yeah, people have this, like comics, like they go, you have to hit every gig you can for the cheapest pay, like doesn't matter what they're paying you. And it's like, I have never operated like that. I don't thrive in that situation. I curate my own space and life, and kind of like I go where I'm comfortable and wanted. I don't like to show up to a bar show in the middle of the like a small town in California where they're not expecting comedy, and then not only not expecting comedy, they don't expect me to be there.
Right.
Who has like a different view of comedy, because I have this, like I know comedy, I'm so entrenched in it, and I've been studying it since I was a kid. So I'm like, I don't have time to go back and do Germans talk like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
And I don't think you want to see me do that. And I go where I'm booked and where I'm wanted and stuff, and I go to and I've done the road gigs. I've done the small towns. I went to drive 5 hours to Merced for a dinner and $50.
Wow.
And I'm like, and I do okay. It's like I could do okay on a bar show in town. I don't need to put myself through that. Plus, I got this. I'm married. I have this hot ass wife that doesn't want me all over the place, and it's like, yeah, I want to be around too. So the gig at the store is, I'm lucky enough that I can go up 2 or 3 times a week on their shows, and get booked at the Improv and like bar shows around town. I'm very happy to do those. We'll do any of those. Just did Chatterbox the other week, the best show that's in LA outside of LA. Shout out Chatterbox.
Where is that?
That's in Covina, run by Steve Hernandez, Julia Loken, Lisa Chanou, Scott Lors.
This is not too far. It's like 30, 45 minutes.
It's in traffic, it's over an hour, but without but it's a Sunday night show, so usually you can get there in like 50, 45.
Yeah, you sail home.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's a really great show.
How often do you get to do La Jolla? Or there how many
Used to
other
be more.
comedies?
Emily, if you're watching, I'd love to do La Jolla again.
She's a fan of the show.
Yeah.
We're very good friends.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we worked together on a comedy special literally 2 years ago this week.
Nice. Well, let me know about La Jolla, either of you. I'd love to open or close for someone down there. That'd be really fun. But that audience is interesting because it's rich white San Diegans who are like kind of have that either straight up conservative bent, or they're like Joe Biden Democrats. It's like, okay, it's not. Wow, it's not like comedy fans. They're kind of comedy fans, but it's a great club. It's a really great club.
Yeah, it's no West Hollywood, but
yeah, you don't get the mix of people.
Yeah,
it's pretty much the demo of the town. That's the other thing about like going on the road. It's like you see the demo of the town. It's like this town is like this. Got it.
It also depends on who you're out with.
Yeah, if you're with a headliner or whatever, you're like, okay, it's his crowd or their crowd, whatever. I like when I went with Marin out on the road. It was very polite crowd to me, and they were there for Marin, and they like I did well, and Marin did spectacular. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like it's so funny. His crowd is so specific. I went to San Diego with him and opened for him at American Comedy Co. And I walked by the line. He sold it out, obviously, because it's a club. But walking past the line in San Diego, no one was wearing shorts. No one was wearing flip flops.
Wow.
I have never seen that. It was all like.
Was it summer?
Cool boots.
Or was it winter?
It was not winter. I think it was like maybe early fall, mid fall. So it was probably like fall. So it was still hot.
Marin people.
Yeah.
Hipster Marin.
Marinated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They were marinating in those. Yeah. It was a lot of like aging punk rockers. And like he gets like older singles. He gets older single women and older single dudes.
Oh, wow.
Who love his podcast. That like those are really those are his fans, and he has a cool fan. I really like his fan base.
Yeah, well, he's super cool.
Yeah, he's super intense.
Yeah. I got to photograph him once for Josh Adameyer's goddamn comedy jam at the Viper.
Oh, nice.
And he was great. I mean, he let me do a couple singles, and it was group shot, and he was like, "You got 30 seconds." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, cool.
And I did my thing. I've got lucky.
He's another guy that knows his audience and kind of curates his space now. He didn't always have that luxury, but now he knows himself, and he books himself really well.
Yeah. When I was like, "Oh, podcasting is a thing." I like comedy. I like podcasts.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And what's the best one? And he just came up first, and I was like, yeah.
I do. I really only listen to the ones with comics now. I don't care when he interviews
Obama,
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
I don't care. I miss the early days. I was listening since like episode 10 or something. I got on early.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you have the archives or whatever, those are the best ones because he has real beef with the people that he brings on, and they squash it on the pod, and they talk about, and they don't always squash it, but they get into like, oh, Mark, you've been a dick to me forever, and I'm like, this is great radio. This is what I want.
I got to get into the archives.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah,
with all like his old buddies. Those are some great episodes.
And he was long sober since before he started the pod, right?
Yeah.
So
he was a few years sober, like 5 or 6.
No, just like drunk Marin out there anywhere.
No, he's a lot of like apologizing.
Oh, he's on step 7 or something. He's like making atonements.
Yeah.
I used to listen to every single episode. Didn't matter. And then I started to do Rogan, and then it was Two Bears, and then it was Bad Friends, and then it was Santino.
I've never listened to Rogan.
Not once, huh?
No, he was kind of a. He was a guy that was like always friendly around the store. He tipped. He tipped everybody.
I fucking
and
hope
he was
so.
He was a great dude for two comics. And then he has a lot of opinions that I just really think he's doing a lot of bad stuff sometimes.
You know, maybe saying Rogan's name means I think maybe we have met before, because my ex-girlfriend used to be his assistant on Fear Factor in like 0102. And we find out that he's playing the store. So we go to the store, we watch him. We're waiting in the patio, and I just grab a door guy. And I'm like, hey, anybody get a message to Rogan? And he laughed at me so
That wasn't
hard.
me, but that's really funny. What year was that? Do you remember?
2017. Like,
oh, it might have been me then. Yeah.
16, 17.
I do often will like some of the biggest genuine laughs are like honest questions from fans and stuff.
Can I go backstage? Like, what? No.
It's like, how do I perform here? And I go, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
I give it out on every podcast, like whatever. Like if you're asking me now, you haven't gone through the steps.
No,
like
it's well documented on the internet. Like if you really want to do it,
it's everywhere. And like, just don't, or like, and it's people who are like, how do I get up tonight? It's a lot of like, can I go up next on the original room?
Right. Have you seen the fucking lineup? Like,
you go to hell.
Right.
Go away.
Don't come back here.
Yeah, we don't need your money that badly. Like, go. You should go.
Oh man. I wonder if it's the same with other meccas of other things, right? So like,
Oh,
Comedy
I'm
Store
sure
is the
it is.
mecca of comedy.
I'm
People
sure
go like,
people get asked that at the Cellar. I'm sure people get asked that at like the Forum or like what, you know.
yeah, I mean like the Baseball Hall of Fame. Do you think people are in there going like, how do I play baseball? It's not the
Yeah,
same.
I guess that's
like,
a
you
good
know?
point. Yeah, they don't.
It's like you fucking know how to play baseball.
Yeah, you have to try out. You
Have some fucking respect for the place.
You don't go to Dodger Stadium and go, hey, can I be up next?
Yo.
Am I on deck?
Get Mookie out of here.
Yeah.
I'm batting next.
Exactly. Yeah.
See, it just doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, get rid of Bobby Lee. I'll go up.
Right. He's got movies and shit. He doesn't need his comedy. All right. I have some rapid fire questions that I ask everybody because we're coming up to the end of the hour.
Wow.
Let's see here.
Hey, and that flew by.
It sure did. And it's going to cut down to at least 10 or 15 minutes of quality shit.
Oh, good. Yeah. That's what I'm worth. I was pretty serious. I wasn't very clippy this episode. I'm sorry.
Oh, you know what? Not everything is clippable.
Yeah.
As we just found out with Josh Potter's episode. So, oh my God. Broadcasting is my favorite thing to do in the world. Cool. Tell me where my It was great to meet him. I've been a fan of his for a very long time.
Yeah.
The stuff that I ended up clipping was like clippable.
Oh, good. Well, this can be my clip.
Yeah. A clip
Talking shit about Josh Potter.
Yes. In 10 weeks, that might work out.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we come up with here. Biggest influences, we kind of touched on that a little bit.
Marx Brothers.
Marx Brothers.
Marx Brothers, and embarrassing to say, Woody Allen. He's kind of out of vogue, I would say.
I mean, but
because of all of his sex crimes.
right.
Yeah.
Sex crimes aside,
Yeah.
his comedy content.
He made some great films.
He did.
Yeah.
Hobbies outside of comedy.
Yeah, I started golf a couple years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I used to play drums.
Recovering drummer.
Yeah.
Cool. Favorite club to perform at, or the weirdest place you've ever done comedy besides the store?
I did the weirdest place. I did a college gig at Princeton in their food court that like barely had a microphone. I think they got us a microphone like 10 minutes before the show was supposed to start. Mm-hmm. They didn't tell any of the students, and we just kind of like started a comedy show, and people were like studying with like headphones on and eating and like
Wow.
with their laptops and stuff, and we were like, so dating's hard, right?
Yeah, they're like,
And it's like fucking comedy's hard is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we say in my little circle of friends. Like everybody that I hang out with, none of them are comics, but they're all like comedy adjacent. Mm-hmm. And anytime somebody makes a bad joke, they're like, comedy's hard, huh? So
Yeah. I like to say comedy's funny.
Comedy's funny. I might steal that one. Did you ever see any weird shit or do any weird shit as a kid? Like find a dead body or walk on a train tracks or like anything of
Like Stand By Me.
yeah, any Stand By Me stories?
I set fire to a lot of stuff.
Cool.
Not in a psychopath. Turns out, not in a psychopath way, which is great.
With like a magnifying glass?
Some magnifying glass, a little more intense. Like me and my buddy, a lot of lighter fluid and whatever we could find. Yeah.
We had one of you in my neighborhood too.
Yeah. It was great. And I, got into pot pretty early, and I'm just a cool guy.
Just getting high, setting fire to shit.
I mean, yeah.
That's
Just
cool.
like a little punk kid in LA thinking I was like whatever. Yeah. It was fun.
Burning LA down one house at a time.
Yeah, one little part of the backyard. Yeah,
Have you ever seen a UFO or a ghost?
they don't exist.
Copy that. Have you ever experienced a natural disaster? Which, if you've been in LA your whole life, probably earthquakes.
Yeah, earthquakes. Yeah, a bunch of earthquakes, blizzards in New York, hurricanes in New York.
How big does an earthquake have to be for it to count? In your book.
Over 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite vacation spot?
Man, that's good. That's a good question.
Hey, thanks.
Island living is really nice. Mm-hmm. Went to Kauai last year.
Okay.
And that was pretty amazing. But I like small, because living in New York and LA, I like smaller cities in like countries and stuff. So we went to, I like Florence in Italy a lot.
Oh, okay.
And Siena in Italy is amazing.
Yeah.
It's
I have heard.
like, that's a medieval town that is great.
Italy for you, huh? How many
Yeah.
times have you been to Italy?
I did study abroad there, so I was there for a whole summer.
Shit.
And I was pretty good at Italian because I knew Spanish and they were teaching us Italian. So I got pretty good and that was fun. Played cards with the locals, like with my buddy, and we played it's like a kind of like spades, but they have like different cards and like you do that with a partner. And it was a drinking game. It was really cool. And there was a guy who looked like he came in, everyone rides a Vespa. He came in, he was like a big pirate looking dude. He had a bald head. He had a brass ring. He had like a one missing tooth, you know, and he bigger than the Vespa he rode in on. And he would drink a beer out of a glass and it would take him as much time to drink that beer as it would if you just poured it out onto the ground.
Just
back.
Wow.
Done. And so the card game was a drinking game I bought him like 3 more beers just to see him do that. Like, that was
Andre
awesome.
the Giant style.
Yeah, very much. He was like 6'3".
Wow.
At least 300 pounds. Just knocked it back. Yeah. And beer's cheaper than water there sometimes. So you get a Peroni for like €1 and a water bottle for €1.50.
Oh, okay.
You know, so like, doesn't give him a beer. Yeah.
That's a great way to travel.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more.
Yeah, let's go.
Do you like Las Vegas, Nevada?
Yeah.
Big fan, little fan, medium fan?
Medium fan. I don't go a lot. I like gambling. I like poker, but I've never played it in there. I usually play blackjack or whatever. But best people watching in the world.
Do you play poker here in LA?
I haven't, but I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me know.
You watch it on TV?
Not anymore, but in college, it was on late night all the time, and we had the cable, so we just
I taught it at a bar before I moved here.
Oh, wow.
And then when I moved here, I thought I was I started as a production assistant, so I didn't make any money. So I'd go and pick up $100 or $200 playing poker at Commerce.
Wow, yeah.
And then of course when
I haven't been to any casinos around here.
Oh man, it's not worth it.
See, like that, like both of those answers, I'm intrigued by, and I like that kind of.
It's worth it to go play cards one time if you're into poker.
Yeah,
but after that, it's like playing blackjack.
How long would like $200 last?
If in poker?
Yeah.
Well, there's
at like Commerce.
At Commerce, there's a $1, $2, $40 buy-in table, or there's a $100 3-5 table. So you could play twice at the 3-5, and
Twice. What does that mean?
So like $100 maximum minimum buy-in, right? Like you can't sit down with less, you can't sit down with more. $100 buys you in. So you're $200
and it's pot limit, I guess.
It's
or limited.
There's a limit table and a no limit table.
Yeah.
So you could sit down for one hand and go all in with your $100 and see what happens. $100 usually lasts me like 2 hours if I'm scared.
That sounds great.
I'm playing conservative. $200, you could sit at the 200 like 3-6 table if you're really feeling ballsy. But there's some real sharks down there.
Yeah, I would assume.
I would rather play poker.
People making their living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Commerce, you can do all right. But don't play poker in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because the local guys all know each other. There's, 8 people at a table? 6 of them know each other, and they're going to go have lunch later. So the 2 people that sit down, husband and wife, they're like, oh, poker in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, they have tells and signals and all this shit. Like, who's going to get them?
I'm sure I have a bunch and whatever. I love Rounders. Love that movie.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Great movie.
What better movie? Did you see the one with Oscar Isaac, the poker one?
It's so bad.
I really liked it, except for one actor.
But that's a blackjack movie, right? The new one, How to Count Cards or something like that? And here's what I mean. The acting's phenomenal. Tiffany Haddish, good for her, right? But it's shot like shit. Just from a cinema background, like I can't
interesting.
watch.
I really liked it, except I think Tiffany Haddish is great in a lot of stuff and not that. I thought she ruined the movie.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a fan of hers, and I like her a lot, and I just don't think she was right for the role. And
I did turn it off after her first scene where she sits down and buys him a drink. So,
yeah.
Are we talking about the same movie?
Yeah, I think so. It came out like a couple years ago, and there's a big reveal.
Oh. I'm thinking about like a new. It's Oscar Isaac, Tiffany Haddish. Like, there can't be too many movies that they've been in together.
No, I think that
he starts off playing blackjack.
Yes.
And then does he switch to poker?
Yes.
I did not finish this film.
Finish the film.
Okay.
And it's also not about poker, which is very cool, but not what I got into the movie for. But it turns out to be pretty cool.
Is this the one where he covers everything in the hotel room?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll finish that up tonight.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
What is the best meal you have ever had in your whole life?
A meal in Vegas I had is up there with, I had an osso buco that was like kind of fried, and it had the bone marrow there, and it had a risotto on this. I'm an osso buco. That's
the Italian place south of the Wynn?
I don't know.
Off the strip?
I think it might have been in the strip.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, it was blue, and I went when I was like 22.
Okay.
And it was with my dad, and he was buying, and it was like Spence.
Yeah.
And it was nice.
There's one.
But any meal in Italy or Spain or France, I've never had a bad meal there.
Right.
And those are all like, this is what a tomato tastes like.
Yeah. I remember having dinner at an Italian restaurant in Vegas, and this guy ordered that same meal, and I was like, "Oh, you get the marrow and this pasta, and there's a little."
Yeah.
I just have plate of spaghetti or whatever. Order envy complete. I was like, "I want that next time," and I could never remember it. But there's an Italian place in Playa called Pinguini. Check it out.
Pinguini, like penguins.
Penguins, but Pinguini like linguini.
Sure.
Luke, thank you for your time.
Thank you. This was fun.
You want to plug anything before you go?
Yeah, the Doorcast, Comedy Store Doorcast, wherever you get podcasts, is all about gossiping about working at the store. I have I host, and then I have 3 rotating door guys, different people every episode, and we bitch about the store. At Luke Does Stuff on Twitter.
And if you want to see Luke's middle finger, check out his Instagram.
Yes, I changed it to a thumbs up now.
Oh, cool.
I've rebranded to Positivity.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm thumbs up on help. 4 helps.
4 helps on Instagram.
Help.
Instead of flicking people off in traffic, I started giving them a thumbs up about a year ago. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, good rebrand.
Nice.
Yeah, solid.
Luke Schwartz, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time, everybody.